The rain hit the diner windows like tiny bullets that night. Neon lights flickered outside, reflecting on the wet pavement, red, blue, and broken. Inside, the Route 16 diner was almost empty. The smell of coffee and fried bacon hung thick in the air. A young waitress, barely 20, nervously wiped a counter that was already clean. Her name tag read Maya. She'd only been working here for 2 weeks, but she already knew the faces that made her stomach twist in fear. The bell over the door jingled. 3 men in leather jackets stormed in, loud, drunk, laughing. The kind of laughter that made you want to disappear. "Hey, sweetheart." One of them smirked. "Serve us, Btch." Maya froze. Her hands trembled. The diner fell silent except for the buzz of a flickering bulb. That's when the sound of engines rolled through the night, deep, thunderous like a storm coming. Within seconds, 6 bikers pulled up outside. The kind of men who didn't need to announce themselves, the kind who were the announcement. What happened next turned that small-town diner into a story people still whisper about years later. Maya had moved to the town of Ridgefield just 2 months ago, chasing a quiet life after losing her mom. Her father had left years before, and there was nothing left for her in the city, just memories she was desperate to outrun. She found work at the Route 16 diner, an old roadside place where truckers, travelers, and night owls came for cheap coffee and warm pie. The owner, Betty, was kind but tired. She'd seen enough broken souls to recognize one when Maya walked in. But kindness couldn't keep away trouble. Every few nights, a group of thugs, locals who thought they owned the place, came in drunk, loud, and cruel. They'd mock Maya, make her pick up things they accidentally dropped, corner her when she brought their food. She wanted to quit, but rent was due and her little sister Lily depended on the money she sent home. That night was worse than usual. The leader of the group, a tall man with a scar down his cheek named Rex, grabbed Maya's wrist as she tried to place his plate down. "You call this hot?" he hissed, slamming the plate down. "You trying to poison me, sweetheart?" The others laughed. "Please, sir," Maya whispered. "Let me." He yanked her closer. "Say that again. I like when you beg." Betty shouted from behind the counter, "Let her go, Rex, or I'm calling the cops." Rex turned, smiling. "Do it, old lady. You think they'll show up for a little diner girl?" The fear in Maya's eyes said everything. She'd seen this before. People like Rex didn't care about consequences. They wanted control, power. When the bell over the door jingled again, Maya almost didn't look up. She thought maybe another group of drunk men were about to make things worse. But then she heard them. The deep, rumbling voices, the heavy boots on tile. The bikers walked in like shadows brought to life. 6 of them, jackets patched with Iron Vultures MC. They didn't shout. They didn't laugh. They just looked. First at Maya's terrified face, then at Rex's hand gripping her wrist. The leader of the bikers, Jackson, was a tall man with a steel gray beard and eyes like frozen water. He took off his gloves 1 finger at a time and said quietly, "Let the lady go." Rex smirked. "And who the hell are you, old man?" Jackson didn't answer. He just stepped closer, slow and dangerous. Another biker, a woman with tattoos running down her arm, moved toward Maya and gently pulled her behind the counter. "You okay, sweetheart?" she asked. Maya could barely nod. Rex pushed his chair back, standing to face Jackson. "This is our spot, Grandpa. You and your crew better roll out before." Before he could finish, Jackson grabbed his wrist, the same one he'd used to hurt Maya, and twisted it down against the table. There was a crack. The diner went dead silent. Jackson leaned in, voice low and even. "You ever touch a woman like that again, and I'll make sure you can't use that hand for anything." The thugs backed up, faces pale, the laughter gone. One of them tried to reach for a bottle. Another biker simply slammed his palm on the table, breaking it in half. They didn't have to fight. The power in the room had already shifted. Rex and his men stumbled out, muttering curses, but they didn't look back, not once. When it was over, Maya stood behind the counter shaking, tears threatening to fall. Jackson sat down at a booth and said gently, "Coffee, black, and maybe one of those pies." Betty smiled, trembling but relieved. On the house, as Maya poured his coffee, her hand still trembled, but this time it wasn't from fear, it was disbelief. "Why did you help me?" she whispered. Jackson looked at her for a moment, then said, "Because once, someone didn't help my sister when she needed it. Never again." The room went quiet again, but this time it was peaceful. Before they left, Jackson handed Maya a small patch, a winged skull, the symbol of the Iron Vultures. "Not everyone you meet in the dark is there to hurt you," he said. "Sometimes they're there to make sure no one else does." The Route 16 diner was busier than ever. SAF stop sign hung in the window, placed there by the Iron Vultures Motorcycle Club. Maya now ran the place alongside Betty. She smiled more, laughed louder, and walked taller. The thugs never came back. They'd learned that some storms are worth fearing. Every time a bike engine rumbled in the distance, Maya still looked up, her heart steady. Because that night taught her something powerful. Troy, you don't have to be strong alone. Sometimes the right people walk in when you need them most.